Well, hello and good evening. It's 5:30 evening. It is, it
Pre-evening,
is, isn't it?
pre-evening.
5:30. Yeah, well, good pre-evening, everybody. Hello and welcome along to post-match reaction here on the Rangers Rabble podcast. Listen, folks, it was a dire game. It was a dire game of football. First half, we played well, controlled it. Second half, it was just boring, right? So I'm going to apologise before we even begin if this is an extremely. I shouldn't say this, right? Because as I am running a business, I'm trying to keep more eyes on the product. But I'm not going to lie to you folks. This could be one of the most boring post-match reactions that we have ever done. We'll see how it goes. I am joined for their sins by Alex and Craig. Alex, unfortunately, you had to do the watch along for the members.
I was just poor, just a poor game to do a watch along for. Spoke about maybe being a goal fest the past couple of games we've had on the watch along. It was goals galore. So for this to then only be 1-0, quite poor. But there was some good comments on the go to get us through it. That probably sparkled up the watch along rather than the game itself.
Yeah, Craig, not a classic, not a game that we'll all be rushing to jump on to RTV and watch the highlights of.
No, let's get the positives out of the way first. We won the game. That is
Yes.
the positive, that we won the game. Barring the brilliant man of the match display from the crossbar, we'd have had 4 or 5. But yeah, it wasn't a classic. The low block strikes again after the last few games where we've seemed to turn a corner. We seem to go back to type a little bit today, but yeah, it was. I think I had the fear this morning that it was always going to be after one of those after the Lord Mayor shows, and we'd come back down to earth a little bit. But yeah, we got the win, which is all that matters over the Christmas period.
That is a fair point, Alex. I don't think that we can come on here and be ridiculously overreactive. We had a good showing again, and in the last 3 weeks we've had good showings. We outplayed Tottenham Hotspur. We done really well against Celtic, if not for, and I will keep saying it because I keep getting moaned at off of supporters of other clubs. Bar a horrendous VAR decision, we probably win the cup. So these are the type of performances that when everything's going well and you're winning leagues and you're winning cups, you just put these down to one of those days.
Well, it's just one of those days. As you both said, it is a win, isn't it? It's 3 points. We have moved up to second in the league. We're now ahead of Aberdeen. We now need to be chasing first. But I just put it down as one of those games that it was a horrible game to play. It didn't look like it was going to go our favour. Crossbar kept us out on a number of occasions, but we just need to move on now. We need to build on that. We've got a tough couple of fixtures coming up from being away from home. And we need to not let those kind of performances dwindle. We need to come out again against St Mirren and actually put in a performance and get another 3 points. A couple of goals helps that, but if we're not getting the 2 and 3 goals that we're needing, 1-0s are obviously not the best to watch, but you're still getting the 3 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of these performances, Craig, under Clement that we can point to, and I suppose that kind of backs up the evidence to go right. Well, we can't really be seeing much more of these because the next 2 games away from home, St Mirren and Motherwell. Motherwell, I think, will be a lot more tricky than St Mirren, he says, as he probably gets egg on his face. Before we then go and face, obviously, Celtic on the second. So here's hoping that on another day, the ball doesn't hit the crossbar 140,000 times and the scoreline looks a bit better.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the next 2 games shouldn't be tough, but always end up being tough. Boxing Day and obviously between Christmas and New Year will be difficult. Like Alex said, if you're winning, and like you said, if you're winning leagues and you're blowing teams away 9 times out of 10, then you do get the odd game like this. This seemed to be a bit more like Dundee United at home and some of the games we've had earlier on where we've just scraped through and stumbled through the game. I mean, the last 5 minutes or so, we were in control for 87 minutes of the game, and the last 3 or 4 minutes you sort of have a little chance for them, and you sort of going, this doesn't seem to, this is going to be one of those days in a bad way. But ultimately, on another day, we're sat on here now and we're talking about a 4-5-0 win But there were points in the game where it was just boring, but we were never under any real worry across 87, 88 minutes of that game.
No, and I don't think that's a performance, Alex. I don't think necessarily it was a honking performance. I think if you watch that game back, you will see the amount of chances that we actually created. Ross McCausland threw in goal a couple of times. Igaman misses for 5 yards out. Hadji hits the bar. Obviously, Cerny scores the goal. So I don't think this is one of these games where we can come away and go, the manager got the starting lineup wrong, he got the subs wrong, he got his tactics wrong. I think that the failure of not scoring more goals today simply falls on the players.
100%. When you've had 21 shots at home and you've only had 5 on target and scored 1 goal, that comes down to the players. That's not down to Clement. When you're missing as many chances as we did, we didn't take the warning when Hadji's hit the bar in the first half. We just seemed to be aiming for the bar rather than the back of the net. And that seemed to be the going thing in this game. But it's the amount of chances we spurred. I mean, Ross McCausland had 2 or 3 at the end of the game, and he just kept ballooning them over the bar. Dessers comes on, hits the bar. It just wasn't our game for getting the clear-cut opportunities and putting them away. But there didn't seem to be any pressure on Liam Kelly's goal. He seemed to be very comfortable. There was one opportunity late on, but it looked like it would have been offside if it caused him any issues. But listen, we just have to put it down to the fact that it wasn't the most exciting game to watch.
And I mean, Thomas is making the point, Craig, the decision making from our front four is why we can't put teams away. And Blue Nose Bob on the kind of similar subject, Craig. Why do we constantly pick the wrong option?
I wish I knew the answer. And unfortunately, that is, to a point, something that Clement can't do much about. He can coach the players, but in that split-second moment, he can't influence what the players are going to do. I mean, we'll go back to last weekend, 4-on-1. You've got to play the ball to the left to Cerny, and the ball goes to the right, and it gets blocked. It's simple things like that where teams I won't even say better quality, because we do have players that have quality. I mean, Berami, Cerny, they're not bad players. It's just in that moment they just seem to pick the wrong option. And if we knew the answer to that, we'd probably be 5 points clear at the top and blowing teams away. But I'd like to say it's something the manager can't really, to a point, coach or improve. It's just players having to have that mindset.
In terms of Alex's starting lineup today, I actually looked at that lineup and thought, yep, okay, I'm happy with that. I was happy that obviously Balogun given a rest, Dujon Sterling coming in, playing alongside Proper, and I thought the two of them, albeit right, it's the team you're playing against, didn't really offer much. But any time Sterling or Proper had to do their job, I think they've done it well.
They looked like they had a good game today, to be fair. There was a couple of opportunities where Sterling looked like he put us in a bit of danger. There was an opportunity where the ball came over the top and he tried to pass it back to Liam Kelly. He put so much pace on it that it gave Dundee a corner. But apart from that, I said it in the watch along, Proper actually looked like he enjoyed himself today. He didn't seem like he was shunning away from challenges. He was going in for them. He was carrying the ball forward. He actually looked like he was enjoying himself today. So I think it was for the defence, it was quite good, quite comfortable. When you come back to the front four, though, it seems like they're lacking a bit of composure and just a bit of take your time with the ball. Do you know? You don't need to you want to get the ball going forward and that, but you're rushing it at that point when you're just making the wrong choices and you're not taking your time with it, because there was opportunities today where we could have scored more if they just had a bit of composure in their decision making. You look at Hadji, the amount of times he was offside, but he's looking along the line. Just read the line. He scores, but he's miles offside.
Yeah, he was offside. I don't think during the watch along, I think it was the second Hadji offside in quick succession. I don't think he was off, but me and Connor can argue about that. Quite possibly at a later date. Liam Kelly, Craig, was a last minute change to the starting lineup. We're hearing all sorts of rumours. Butland's wife possibly going into labour. I think Clement did confirm it was a personal reason.
Issue, yeah.
I mean, if there's a game to bring Liam Kelly in, it's this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I had to take a double take, because when I saw them saying about Liam Kelly, I was like, did I read the team sheet wrong? Was that because I'm sure it said Butland, and then I went through Twitter and I was like, yeah, it did say Butland. I was like, have they got it wrong to begin with? And then obviously I saw that Butland had sort of dropped out the last minute. The TV commentators were saying he'd pulled up in the warm up, but the manager's saying it's a personal issue. So who knows? It could be both, but or neither. But yeah, Liam Kelly isn't really going to get a better game to sort of come in and make his second Rangers debut. And if you're going to miss Butland for one of the games, again, this is probably a home game against Dundee is probably not the worst one for him to drop out.
Yeah, quite possibly. Do you know, there was something I picked up on, Alex, during the game, and it was right. It was like 15 minutes in or something, and I think it was just a long ball up the park. And I think Iggerman's now got himself a bit of a reputation as somebody who is very, very good with the ball at his feet. He's very, very good at skinning players. And it almost seemed as if for that early part of the game that the Dundee defenders were actually scared of him. Because he manages to nick the ball and he gets it into Danilo, and Danilo, what we've seen quite a few times today, really, really tame shot.
I seem to be almost scared of taking a shot today, but Iggerman, they seem to be doubling up on him just now because he's got that bit of skill and he's got that bit of flair and he's trying to get past players. Sometimes he does it and it puts us in a bit of a bad position. He did it in the second half. He was doing keepy ups and then he punted it and he gave it straight to the Dundee player. But he is playing with a lot of confidence. Iggerman just wasn't his game today. 5 yards out and he smashes the bar. I think during the watch long, it was said if he'd miscontrolled that or mishit that, it's a goal. But the fact he's put his laces through it, he's hit the bar. So you've got to feel for him there. But the team played well in that first half. They just couldn't get the ball. There was an opportunity. I think Tav had an opportunity to hit it, and Raskin actually blocked it. And you think, get out the road. He's blocking it rather than being there. But listen, it's just he doesn't look like it for Danilo. Don't know why, and he didn't look overly disappointed when he got took off either. He just looked like he knew he was having a bad game, and he just wanted to come off. So maybe that's about trying to manage minutes. I don't know, but he just didn't look like he was having the best of time on the pitch.
I mean, he is just coming back for injury, to be fair, Craig, and he did score. He did score that goal in the cup final. But again, just like a lot of the players today, just looked off it.
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think especially when you're coming back from injury, there's a difference between coming on and sort of playing 15, 20 minutes. And we say that, if you can play 15, 20 minutes, then he can start and see how he gets on. But there is a big difference between those two. He did look off it. I noticed a couple of the shots he took. The one it come to him and he sort of put it, and it seemed to take an age to go out for the goal kick. It was just such a tame shot. It didn't seem on it today, but like Alex said, a few of them didn't. I thought Dio was a little bit off the pace as well. There wasn't many that would sort of get over pass marks. I think a lot of them were sort of 5, 6 out of 10.
I don't think it was quite that bad, to be fair. I don't think, Alex, that Dundee really offered anything throughout the game. And I think if you look back at that first half and the chances that we did create, we should have took more. And then, there was a spell in the second half where the play just seemed disjointed for both teams. But then the chances we created towards the end of the game as well, I don't think it's necessarily a horrendous performance. I think that's quite harsh.
I don't think it was a horrendous performance. I think on another day, that's 4-5-0 to Rangers against Dundee. And I think the fact that you can see Trevor Carson was having the game of his life, as he does when he plays against Rangers. He was making some good saves. I just think if we were a bit more clinical in front of goal, you get the lads' confidence up. You could see it when Cerny scored. There was that 5-10 minute spell where we were playing with a bit more confidence because we got the goal. Dundee had to come out and we were pressing against them. We tried to get it and it just wasn't working. Then Dundee got that bit of confidence because, it's still 1-0. We're getting into the latter stages of the game. They're then going to press forward. They bring on Simon Murray and they try and get that goal. And I think that was going to be Dundee's game plan. It didn't really work out for Rangers.
As Alex is getting shouted at in the background there, all you can hear is, Dad. Love it. If it's not a dog, it's a child interrupting the Rangers Rabble podcast. It has to be. I suppose there's a slight frustration there, Craig, that I think we just wanted to see. I don't know if more of our reactions fair because, like I say, and I will keep saying, we did create enough chances to score at least 3 or 4 the day. I think what a lot of us were looking for, myself included, I think we just wanted to see a bit of a score the day. We wanted to see a 3-4-5-0. We wanted to see us bounce back from that cup final.
Yeah, we seem to have quite a bit of intensity the first 10 minutes or so. We seem to be camped out in Dundee's half. I think the more worrying thing would be if we weren't having the shots. Obviously, we've had games like that this season where we struggled to create a lot of chances. I think the only thing with me was the players after sort of 15 minutes or so, we seemed to just go into that, get the ball out wide, get the ball back, recycle it, play it to the other side. We weren't really changing it up with our approach, and obviously with a low block, basically they're going to eat that up all game. There was a few tasty challenges from Dundee. I know there was one quite early on that there was a bit in contention about whether it was a penalty or not. I don't think it was for me. But yeah, there was certainly a few tasty challenges, and whether our players sort of backed out a little bit from that. But there was one that I think on another day could have probably been looked at as a possible red. But yeah, there's a few tasty challenges going in.
Yeah, you were making noises, Alex, about the Silla challenge during the watch along. Were you convinced that should have been a red?
Just looked like a bit of a nasty challenge, to be fair, from Silla. It looked like he went in with the intention of hurting Hadji rather than actually getting the ball. When you watch the replay back, he had no intention of actually playing the ball. I was a bit surprised that VAR didn't look at it because it was just given that, well, aye, let's know. But like they just meant like the referee, yellow card, on you go. But for me, it just looked a bit nasty. He was going in with the intention of hurting Hadji and putting the hurt on him, trying to assert a bit of dominance in the game and show that he was going to be the big unit to run about. And obviously the yellow card was given, but no more was spoke about after that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. My missus had just came home for the shop. She was doing the Christmas shop because we were having a few people around, and I had to go out to the car. And as I came back in, I heard you talking about it, and I haven't actually seen the Silla challenge. So I can't comment on that.
I think the only thing that saved him is probably not a very high challenge. I think it had been a bit higher, he probably would have been in trouble.
I caught him on the ankle, didn't he? Rather, it wasn't any further up the leg.
It was forceful.
Yeah.
Ian said it was quite reckless as well.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised VAR didn't look at it. VAR over the last week or so, not just with us, but with other people, has taken a bit of a hiding. So Wally Collum's got a bit of a job on his hands today. What did you make, actually, Alex, the day of the refereeing performance? Because if I think refs are, whoever was the referee today was coming with a wee bit of pressure on him.
He definitely was coming with pressure today. I don't think it was a bad refereeing performance. I think he got a lot of the challenges right, and I don't think there was actually much in it to be contentious about. There wasn't many challenges there wasn't many instances where you thought he's got that wrong. You could see in the second half the cards were flying about a wee bit because I think he was starting to lose the game, but there wasn't many opportunities where you thought, no, he has to go to VAR because that's a red, or apart from the Silla challenge. But I actually thought it was a pretty decent performance today. But I think the issue is going to be that more and more teams are going to start putting the pressure on the referees. When you look at the red card last night to Dan Casey, which wasn't a red, it's obviously going to put more and more pressure because, well, as you said, Willie Collum's going to have it on his hands anew, where the referees are totally letting him down because of the calls they're making. He's coming out and saying one thing, and then his referees are doing a completely opposite from what he's saying. So it's going to be interesting.
You could almost just say that they're just copying what he was like as a referee.
Oh, aye, yeah. He's obviously he said this is the way to do it, but don't copy me, do it as I was as a referee. But it's just going to be an interesting couple of weeks to see how the referees are going to manage this situation.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've got the Cerny goal to talk about, and then, to be honest, not much else. So we'll do the Cerny goal, and then we'll do a couple of individual performances, and then we'll let everybody else get on with the Saturday night. Just before I go to that, though, just a quick question. You can answer yes or no, or give a wee bit more of an extended answer if you wish. Alex, are you watching the boxing tonight?
No, I've never been a boxing fan, so no, I'll
What?
not be watching it. No, I've never been a boxing fan, no. No, never.
It's
Have you lost Martin there?
I think that answer stunned Martin into silence and freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely stunned him there, but no, I've never been a boxing fan. What about yourself, Craig?
No, I unfortunately will be fast asleep in my bed, so I will not be watching it. Back in the heyday of Tyson, yeah, I'd watch the boxing, but not for me anymore. I'll see the result tomorrow, but yeah, I'm not staying up until the early hours of the morning to watch the boxing.
it's on at 10. It's not
Were
early.
you that shocked there, Martin? Just your
Man-
internet was like, no, I can't take that answer now.
The internet went, don't associate with A2 anymore. Just don't associate with them. That's exactly what it done. But yeah, look, back to the football. Early second half, Alex, we get that goal that we so desperately needed. Otherwise, I think this would have been a far different reaction, to be honest. I initially thought it was Jeffy for some reason that played the pass through to Cerny, but it wasn't. It was Danilo. So fair play to him in that respect. He did get himself an assist, and Cerny doing what Cerny's kind of been doing.
No, it was a great goal by Cerny. It was almost a slow motion from Cerny though, because he kind of stopped on the line and then kept going. So I think he doubted himself from being on or offside. But how many times have we seen Cerny now run at the goalkeeper with the intention of sitting him on his arse to get the goal? And that's what he's done. And it was a great composed finish. Usually you'd see them trying to smash it, and he just rolled it into the back of the net. So it was a great finish from Cerny. What a pass from Danilo though. Great assist, great pass, just to completely unlock that defence. And that's what we missed though. When you look at how high Dundee were for that second half, it just opened it up. But for 90% of that game, they sat camped in. There was 11 men behind the ball with the opinion just to frustrate Rangers and try and get something up the other half. But no, a great goal by Cerny, and he's been doing it for a while now. We know we all had our doubts about him actually, whether or not he'd be the man to get the goals, but he's not stopped scoring now, but really, he's getting all the goals, he's getting assists, and he's there. That's what we need to be seeing.
Yeah, and Thomas is saying he should have passed it. Thank God he didn't miss it. Well, he didn't miss it, Craig, and he's full of confidence in now, Cerny.
Yeah, the goalie's he's done the goalie because the goalie's expecting him to go left foot, because obviously Cerny's seems to be all left foot, so he has done the keeper. I was a bit unsure at first because the first angle they showed was from like the corner flag. And the first angle, he looked very tight. I thought, oh, this is going to be offside. Obviously, the angle they then showed, which was halfway line, showing that he was obviously clearly on. But yeah, I was waiting for the offside to be called. But no, he's a great finish. And unsurprisingly for Cerny, he sort of had the little bit of composure, sold the keeper for keeper, and sort of gone round him and tucked it away.
Yeah, I'm trying to pad time, to be honest with you, to get the manager. Apparently he has spoken. I'm going to try and get that up just now. But Alex, somebody who we should speak about in this game, and again, I will always bring it back to, yes, I know who the opposition were, right? But it's not going to stop me from talking positively about Rangers players. Proper, you mentioned it earlier, seemed to be enjoying himself and showed his range of passing as well.
No, definitely. I said it earlier on. I thought this was a great game for Proper. Yes, okay, it's only Dundee, but he needs that confidence, and I think that showed today because he was able to turn a few players. He was taking the ball close control, and then just passing it along the pitch, and he was doing well. Usually, when you see Proper with the ball, he almost panics and he tries to punt it away, or he gives it to usually Suter because that's alongside him, or he would give it to Sterling. But he was actually using his own range of passing today and getting it away. I don't think there was many opportunities for Dundee where they got in behind him and actually did anything. So no, I think it was a great performance today for Robin Proper, and I think we're starting to see the reason why he was captain in the Netherlands, because he's actually playing up to a bit of potential, and he has for the past couple of games now.
I mean, yeah, I would go along with that, Craig. He's showed something. He needs to show it, obviously, in the bigger games, the important games. But a good stepping stone for him.
Yeah, it's what you want. The sort of games that he can build his confidence. I know he went through a little bit of a patch where he came in, seemed to do all right, and then seemed to sort of drop off a cliff. And obviously Suter and Balogun came in. Whether it's because he is now sort of deemed as the senior defender, obviously alongside Sterling, maybe that gave him a little bit of confidence today. He's got that sort of ability to sort of hold the back line together. But yeah, it wasn't the most challenging game for him. Obviously, he had that clearance off the line at the end, which he's not to know whether that's going in, and he's not to know whether it's offside. So he does the right thing. Although for a split second, I thought his clearance was going to can into the Dundee player that was running in, and I was half expecting that to happen. But yeah, he seemed to do well, and Sterling alongside him, Mr. Versatility, seemed to do well as well, albeit again against a team that didn't really put them under a lot of pressure.
And we can't go post-match reaction, Craig, without talking about Nico Raskin, who again was absolutely everywhere. Actually, to be honest, Craig, I felt this was a game with the games that we've got coming up that the manager could have maybe left him out and played Barron, but he steps up to the plate again.
Yeah, it seems to be his little thing at the moment where he's playing obviously Dio and Raskin. I think today it was more, at times it seemed to be more free in midfield with Hadji, which allowed Hadji and Diamandi to go forward because they knew Raskin was going to mop up behind. And obviously the points he put the ball across for Enigo Mali hits the bar, and he was just everywhere. I half expected him to be in the stand and selling popcorn at one point because he was all over the pitch, all over the stadium. But yeah, he seems to be coming into a game, and for a while there was worries that he wasn't going to be at Rangers very long, but now he's one of the first names on the team sheet, and just having that fixed position where he knows exactly what he's doing. The people alongside him have got confidence that they can just play their game, and for as long as we hope to see, Nico Raskin will be in the midfield. Obviously, a bigger test to come, but obviously at the moment he's passing everyone with flying colours.
Do you expect Alex Raskin to be in the team for the next 2 away games, and then obviously we fully expect him to be playing against Celtic on the 2nd? But he does. What's that? 11, 12 days or something that we play Celtic. He needs a rest at some point.
He definitely needs a rest, and that's what me and Connor were talking about this in the watch along. Is that what he's been doing with Connor Barron? Because again, he didn't come on today. He's been getting a rest because he's played so many minutes that he is resting Barron to play the next 2, and hopefully to get the pair of them in against Celtic in January. The issue you've got is that Dio's actually looked pretty decent as well. He was a bit quiet today, but he's looked very good in that midfield as of late. So it'll be interesting to see how the midfield's going to line up, because Raskin's obviously in the form of his life right now, so you don't really want to drop him, but the games are coming thick and fast, and you don't want him getting injured and that's him back out again, because that's exactly what will happen. He'll play all these games and then he'll pick up an injury because he's fatigued. So you will want to see Barron come in and give him a little rest, but then who comes in for Dio to give Dio a rest?
Well, if we make a signing on the 1st of January, then we might be able to get somebody in there to give Dio a rest. Is that
a case for Bailey Rice to step up, though? Do you know, and play that role as well? Because
absolutely.
That's an opportunity to get other young players a game as well, because we're screaming out for that, and yet we're still not seeing it. You know, although they played midweek, there was still no players from the B team or the youth team on the bench again today, apart from Munn. So you want to see at least some of the youth getting a run up in these games. I know they're important games, we need to be picking up as many points, but they still need to be getting a run out.
There's a few people in the comments, Alex, talking about Dio and saying that they feel as if he was anonymous today. I don't know if you might. I don't quite go along with that. I thought he'd done okay in that sitting role, and there was a few times he had a mazy run forward. All right, I don't think any player could really say that they were great today, but I don't think Dio was particularly poor.
No, I don't think he was poor. I think that's down to him not having to do as much work with the opposition that was in front of him. I think if he puts a performance where he's quite quiet against your Tottenham or against Celtic, then you say he's poor, but there wasn't much opportunity for players running at him to actually say it was poor. He did his job today, and so did Raskin. I think it's because we've highlighted Raskin quite a lot, and he's had very good performances, and that's why we're saying that Dio's had a bad game, but he didn't have much to do. So I don't agree with the fact that he's had a bad game. He didn't have much to do today against Dundee. He had a few opportunities where he was forward and he was trying to link up play, but I think this goes back to the point we've said, we don't need two holding sixes in some of these games in the league. One would do, and I think that's why Dio's in a position where right now we're telling him to sit back, but then he's going forward because we're attacking, and Raskin's doing the one sitting back. So we need to find a way that we get these boys to work together.
Yeah, see, right, I want to hear for the manager, right, but just Stuart Allison, the question is, would that performance beat them at Ibrox? No, but that performance wouldn't be there when we play them at Ibrox, because Celtic won't sit back and Celtic won't camp in their own box. So it's a completely different game. You've got to take each game. Well, I say each game, right? You can maybe take games against Dundee United, Aberdeen, even to an extent, Hibs. You can maybe put them all in the one box, but you can't say, all right, we didn't play that well against Dundee, therefore that means that's the way we're going to play against Celtic. Doesn't work like that. It really, really doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
By the way, just quickly, sorry, Die Hard is not a Christmas film. Carry on, Alex.
It doesn't work like that as well. When you look at the fact that they step forward and it allows space for Cerny to score, that's the way other teams play, and that's how we get our opportunities. Celtic are not going to come and camp in 11 men behind the ball in their own half. That's why when we're playing against these teams that come forward and have a go, we get the opportunities. But you wouldn't see a performance like that because teams are actually coming to have a go. Dundee today didn't come to have a go. They were wanting maybe one or two opportunities throughout the game, but they had a game plan of just sitting back and trying to frustrate Rangers.
Yeah, 100% it did. Right, let's hear from the manager then. Let's see if he can give us any more talking points, or like I say, we will just let you get on with the rest of your Saturday night. So let's hear from the manager.
Gaffer, 3 points, was that the most important aspect of today?
No, we wanted to do more and score more goals, entertain the fans more with more goals. And the opportunities were there. We hit 4 times the crossbar also. What's kind of special in a game of football. So we were really close about scoring more goals, and we had other opportunities and a ball saved on the line and things like that. But at the end, yes, the most important thing stays the 3 points. But we wanted to entertain the fans also more.
Yeah, did you feel it was a day you could have won by 3 or 4 if you were a bit more clinical?
It's not only being more clinical, it's also a question of centimeters. It's not that a lot of chances were missed with missing the goal by far. Although second half we should have in our transitions scored more goals, and we were too impatient in moments and not clinical enough in that way. But the 4 chances against the crossbar were quite clinical. You need a little bit luck there.
Yeah, what was the message at half time? Because you obviously didn't waste much time in the second half in getting that opener.
To keep on pushing to score the goals, a few little tweaks about positioning, how to find space, and to create the chances, and a good transition moment with Václav and a good finish. So we need to get more of those the next couple of weeks.
Are you pleased the control that you had in the game overall? Because obviously Liam Kelly had very little to do.
Yes, we had 72% ball possession, so we had the ball almost all the time, and Liam indeed didn't have to make one real save. So that stays crucial also, that we are not only attacking and creating chances, but that we keep a good balance in the team, a good structure, that we don't give away chances. So it's another clean sheet, important in that way for the club, and we need to continue in this way. But of course, we want to entertain our fans more and score more goals. So that's the thing we want for the next game. It's not always like that. Against Kilmarnock, it was like that. Now not. It could have been 2-3, 4, even 5-0 also today. But okay, it was not that kind of day.
And obviously a special day for the club as well, with it being the 125th anniversary of Ibrox, and obviously the fans certainly marked it well, didn't they?
Yes, the fans were again amazing behind the team all the game. This club has such a huge history, under 25 years of a lot of amazing moments. That's why we wanted to give more today. That's why all the players were also frustrated that we didn't score the second and third goal, because they wanted to give the fans that.
Yeah, you can hear some of the Scottish coming out in Phil. Big mad mental Phil. Look, yeah, he makes a good point, Craig. Look, yeah, we should have scored more, and he wants to focus on us scoring more. Sometimes it happens the way it did against Kilmarnock. Sometimes you get days like today. I'm not overly worried about the result and performance.
No, I'd be more worried, like I said earlier, if there's been games where we've struggled, we've sort of created 5 or 6 chances all game. They're the ones you have to worry about. When you're creating sort of 20 chances, yes, we could have had a few more on target, but I don't think they count the crossbar as being on target, so add another 4 into that. Yeah, it's one of those. It is one of those days where on another day you're sort of walking away 4-5 nil, and we're on here for about 2 hours talking about the game, rather than sort of 35 minutes and padding it out. He was right about Liam Kelly, I say, not having really anything to do. He could have basically sat in the stand and we could have put anybody in goal. But yeah, I think we just move on from it, get to Christmas, get to St Mirren and Motherwell, which will be more of the same, just getting through the games with winning, and obviously then the big one will be on the 2nd of January. And it is right that we won't have that same performance because we didn't have that. We had a better performance last week against them, so it does change depending on the opposition. They'll certainly put up more of a fight than Dundee. And we'll just get to that game in good form. No players being injured, which is obviously what we want to hope for. A few players to come back in and sort of mix it up a little bit. I was looking at the subs bench. There are players that can come in. I would not expect to see Raskin playing both games over the Christmas period. I'd imagine that he'll play one and then Barron will come in for the other one. And obviously there's like Haji, Berami that can come in for Dio. So there's plenty of minutes over the next week or so for the players to get. I'd be very surprised if we see the bulk of the same team both games.
Yeah, I would be amazed. I'd be absolutely amazed. It was 125 years celebration today, Alex, of Ibrox Stadium. And I suppose we have forgot to mention that when we have these celebration kits, it doesn't always really work out for us very well, does it?
No, I said that during the watch along. We seem to be cussed with these kits, and I think the fact that we come away with a goal and a clean sheet says all that. Has that curse finally been broken? Because we've actually won a game while wearing a one-off kit, but it was a great display today. The fact that behind in the stand it was the Blue Sea Ibrox as well. It was great to see the fans getting involved and having that celebration. So no, I think it was a great touch by the supporters and the club to mark the 125-year anniversary.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Right, well, see, to be honest, guys, right, I really don't want to drag it out anymore than we absolutely have to and keep people glued to their screens when, if we're being brutally honest, there's not a great deal to talk about. One thing I suppose we can speak about before we go, Alex, was something that I heard you saying to Connor in the watch along, and that was surrounding Tav and the difference in his performance due to a tweak of some kind.
Aye, so it looked for me when I was watching the game that Tav has played a lot better since he's been pushed further forward. He seemed to be a lot more involved in the game. Yeah, he was doing his defensive duties, and I think he's started to realise that there's games when he has to stay back and defend. But today was a day that he was actually forward quite a lot, and he was linking up play. A few opportunities he had a shot on goal, and I thought it was really good to see from Tav that he was actually getting involved. A lot of times he takes the criticism because he's not at the back and he's not defending well. But some of the balls that he was putting in the box today, where nobody was getting on the end of them, is what you want to see. He was whipping it into areas where you want your striker to be in that area and getting onto it, and it just wasn't there today. But I think it's a lot better when we're seeing Tav bombing forward, and having Raskin sit back is giving him that freedom to go and do it because there's cover there.
I think what helped with Tav today was he knew Sterling was alongside him, so he sort of had a player that predominantly is a right back that if he's in trouble, he can go further forward because he's got Sterling there to sort of mop up if needed.
Yeah, I would definitely go along with that. Right, okay, Alex, that's us now up to second in the league with a game in hand over Aberdeen, obviously. So, I mean, that's celebration time, isn't it?
Well, definitely, we've at least got up. But I think McDougall said it during the watch along. At one point, we were closer to seventh than second, and now we're actually sitting in second. So you can see the turnaround. We just now need to build on this.
Well, it also helps that Aberdeen have fell off the edge of a cliff.
Oh, they've absolutely fell off a cliff. But we said that I think that the semi-final 6-0 grubbing that they took completely killed any momentum they have had, and it shows because they've not won won in a good few games now, and they just keep dropping points. They're scoring. They scored first today, and then Hibs have beat them 3-1 away from home. They're just not getting performance. But this is where Rangers need to keep eking out these wins. Yes, if it's a 1-0, that's fine, because it's still 3 points at the end of the day. We're not always going to see the great performances of Kamala Gubbin's team 6-0. You see, as long as we're getting clean sheets, we're getting the wins, and there's no injuries. That's all we need to see.
That is a lovely drinking vessel that Craig is drinking from. I must say before we go, if you haven't already and you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And of course, if you are enjoying it, then please do leave a like on the video. It really does help share it out. It helps that with that algorithm that is YouTube, which is a pain in the arse. So please do make sure that you like and subscribe before you click off the video. We are back tomorrow morning for members with the random Rabble, and then we are back on Monday for the afternoon Rabble. Tuesday will be the afternoon Rabble, and I think we're going to do a wee something on Christmas Day as well. So keep tuned for that. If you are subscribed with your notifications switched on, then you will get all your notifications, even in our community posts, to know exactly what we are going to be doing. And if you want to help out a bit further, you can join up as a member, links for which are in the description. Every member counts, every like, every subscribe counts. We are now full time as a Rangers media outlet, so we need your support. So if you can offer it, obviously it's a very tricky time of year. We're all skint because it's Christmas. Nobody knows that more so than me. Do you know what? We might get a die-hard watch along on the go for members. I might just do that. Who knows?
Because it is a Christmas film.
It's not a Christmas film. It's just
You're wrong, Martin. You're
wrong.
wrong.
I'm not wrong. It's an action film. It's not a Christmas film. And I could sit here and argue with you for the next 18 minutes and get this to an hour just about Die Hard, but I'm not going to do that. All right, folks, listen, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Craig. Check out the Rabble store. Link is in the description for Rabble Island for all the goodies that we offer. Check that out. And if you remember, we'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you on Monday at 12:30.